Every once in a while, you witness a moment where entitlement meets accountability, and accountability wins. This is one of those moments. Landon Pierce stepped out of his father's canary yellow Lamborghini in front of the Providence County Courthouse like royalty arriving at a peasant's hearing. The engine gave one last theatrical growl before falling silent, a sound Landon had clearly timed for maximum attention. He was draped head to toe in a Gucci tracksuit, the kind with logos so loud they practically screamed the price tag. Gold chains layered across his chest, a designer watch catching the morning sun, and that smirk, that half-smile that said he had never once faced a consequence he couldn't buy his way out of. Bystanders stopped and stared. A few pulled out their phones. And Landon? He loved every second of it. "Watch and learn, people," he announced to no one in particular, adjusting his chains. "I'm about to teach a judge how real money works." Several phones captured that exact moment. Little did Landon know, those recordings would soon become evidence in his own humiliation. So how did the son of Marcus Pierce, the luxury car dealership tycoon whose billboards covered 3 states, end up standing before a judge in the first place? Let me take you back. 3 weeks earlier, Landon had taken his father's Lamborghini on what he called a content run. Translation: speeding through downtown Providence at nearly double the limit, revving the engine at crosswalks, weaving between lanes like traffic laws were mere suggestions. Officer Delgado spotted him immediately. Lights flashing, siren blaring, the officer attempted to pull Landon over near the city center. But Landon didn't stop. Not right away. Instead, he grabbed his phone and started live streaming. "Yo, we got a cop on my tail," he laughed into the camera, the Lamborghini still rolling. "Bro probably makes in a year what this car costs to insure. Should I outrun him? I could easily outrun him." His followers flooded the comments with fire emojis and hype. Landon ate it up. When he finally pulled over, more out of boredom than compliance, Officer Delgado approached the window professionally, calmly requesting license and registration. Landon's response? He kept the live stream running. "You know who my dad is, right?" Landon said, loud enough for his audience. "Marcus Pierce? Yeah. So let's skip the whole ticket thing. It's embarrassing. For you." But the worst moment, the one that would seal Landon's fate, came next. As Officer Delgado stepped beside the car to write the citation, Landon inched the Lamborghini forward, pretending to roll over the officer's foot. He laughed. His live stream laughed. The dashcam captured everything. And that footage? It followed Landon straight into this courtroom. The heavy oak doors swung open, and Landon sauntered inside like he was walking a runway. The courtroom fell silent. Every head turned. The bailiff stiffened. Even the court reporter paused mid-keystroke. And there, behind the bench, sat the judge, stone-faced, unimpressed, radiating the kind of authority that made wealthy men shrink and powerful egos crumble. Landon didn't notice, or didn't care. He waved at the gallery, winked at a woman in the front row, and whispered something to the man beside him that made them both snicker. "Case 227, the judge announced, voice cold and clipped. "Landon Pierce, reckless driving, resisting citation, potential endangerment of a law enforcement officer." Landon stepped forward, still smirking. Before the clerk could finish reading the charges, he interrupted. "Your Honor, I think there's been a misunderstanding. My father already cleared everything up, so we can probably wrap this quickly." The courtroom tensed. The judge's eyes locked onto Landon like a laser. "Mr. Pierce, you will not interrupt proceedings in my courtroom. Speak out of turn again, and I will add contempt to your charges. Do you understand?" Landon blinked, then shrugged. Sure, no problem." He clearly thought this was still part of the show. The judge leaned forward. Before we proceed, all video evidence will be reviewed publicly. Bailiff, dim the lights. The courtroom lights dropped. A screen flickered to life. First, the dashcam footage. Landon's Lamborghini weaving through traffic, engine roaring. Then, his live stream. His voice filled the room. Bro probably makes in a year what this car costs to insure. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Landon's smirk began to fade. The footage continued, and then froze. On screen, the Lamborghini inching toward Officer Delgado's foot. Landon's laughter echoing. The judge turned slowly toward the defendant. Mr. Pierce, explain to this court why I shouldn't charge you with criminal endangerment of a police officer, right now. For the first time in his life, Landon Pierce had nothing clever to say. The courtroom hung in silence. The frozen image of Landon's Lamborghini, inches from Officer Delgado's foot, glowed on the screen like an accusation. Landon's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Your Honor, Look, that was it was jokes, you know? I was just messing around. I wasn't actually going to hit him. It was content, for my followers. Nobody got hurt. He attempted a nervous laugh. It echoed pathetically through the silent room. The judge didn't blink. Mr. Pierce. The voice cut through the air like a blade. You will stop speaking. Immediately. Landon's jaw snapped shut. The courtroom seemed to collectively exhale. Everyone understood what Landon was just beginning to realize. The performance was over. The judge leaned back, fingers steepled, eyes never leaving Landon's face. When he spoke again, each word landed like a hammer. Let me make sure you understand the gravity of why you're standing in my courtroom today. He lifted a document from his bench. Excessive speeding, clocked at 93 miles per hour in a 45 zone. Reckless driving, weaving across 4 lanes of traffic without signaling, endangering multiple civilian vehicles. Resisting citation. You continued driving for approximately 2 minutes after Officer Delgado activated his sirens. Landon shifted his weight. The cockiness was draining from his posture like water from a cracked glass. The judge continued. Abusive language toward a law enforcement officer. You mocked Officer Delgado's salary. You questioned his authority. You suggested, on a public live stream, that your family's wealth placed you above the law. The gallery murmured. Landon stared at the floor. And finally, the judge said, voice dropping lower, deliberate endangerment. You inched a 4,000-pound vehicle toward a uniformed officer's foot, while laughing, while filming, while your audience cheered you on. He paused. Officer Delgado has served this community for 14 years. He has a wife, 2 daughters. And you treated his safety like a punchline for strangers on the internet. Landon's shoulders curled inward. His hands, once so casually draped at his sides, now fidgeted against his designer tracksuit. He looked smaller, cornered, human. The judge glanced toward the bailiff and nodded. Before I deliver sentencing, I should note, we have an additional party joining us remotely. A large monitor beside the bench flickered to life, and there, filling the screen, sat Marcus Pierce, Landon's father. For a split second, Landon's face transformed. Relief flooded his features. His spine straightened. The familiar confidence crept back into his eyes. Dad was here. Dad would fix this. Dad always fixed things. Mr. Pierce, the judge addressed the screen. Thank you for joining. Do you have any statement before I proceed? Marcus Pierce sat in what appeared to be his office. Leather chair, mahogany desk, dealership logos gleaming behind him. His expression was unreadable. Then he spoke. Your Honor, I want to apologize to you, to Officer Delgado, and to this court for my son's inexcusable behavior. Landon blinked. I have spent 20 years building a name that represents excellence, integrity, and respect. What my son did dishonors everything our family stands for. The courtroom rippled with whispers. Landon's face went pale. I will not be posting bail. I will not be paying his fines. And I fully support whatever punishment you see fit to deliver. He has earned every ounce of it. The screen went dark. Landon stood frozen, mouth open, eyes wide. The safety net he had relied on his entire life had just been ripped away, publicly, permanently, and without mercy. The judge straightened his robes. Mr. Pierce, here is your sentence. Landon didn't move. The Lamborghini will be impounded for 6 months. Your driver's license is suspended for 1 full year. You will pay a $15,000 fine, personally, not your father. You. Landon's breath hitched. Additionally, you will complete 200 hours of work with the Providence Community Auto Safety Program. And finally, the judge leaned forward, you will spend 3 months visiting local high schools to speak about entitlement, reckless driving, and accountability. These sessions will be filmed and distributed as part of a public safety campaign. Landon's voice cracked. Your Honor, please. I can't. The gavel slammed down. This court is adjourned. The gallery erupted in whispers. Phones emerged from pockets. Landon stood motionless at the defendant's podium, his designer tracksuit suddenly looking less like armor and more like a costume. His hands trembled at his sides. No smirk, no swagger, no clever remarks. Just a young man realizing for the first time in his privileged life that money couldn't erase what he had done, that consequences existed, that accountability didn't care about last names, billboards, or Instagram followers. He walked toward the exit, head down, shoulders slumped, fingers shaking against the door. Behind him, the courtroom buzzed with whispers that would soon become headlines, because this was the day reckless privilege collided head-on with unbreakable justice, and justice didn't flinch.